The Mortar Monkey has found itself in an interesting position at the start of Season 2, with the capability of performing many different things for your team. I've run a bunch of games with the Mortar over the last few days, and I've compiled all of the experiences here. I'm going to be talking about a few main concepts, such as the Mortar Monkey's place in the current Season 2 meta, its strengths and weaknesses, and its strong tower combinations. I'd also like to give a thank you to these commenters for recommending the Mortar Tower be the next one I focus on. I had a lot of fun testing it. Using it taught me some interesting game mechanics and combinations that I'm now able to share here, so I'm pretty happy I got to use it. The Mortar Monkey finds its place in the current meta as either a simple early game start or as a late game support tower, offering options such as decamo, defortify, and balloon stun. It's often used as a supporting tech tower because of this, though not as often as some other tech options in Season 2. Now, despite this lower pick rate, it still performs at an excellent level in certain team combinations, giving this tower a higher place of consideration for Season 2. Now, for future consideration, I've currently developed around 4 pocket pick meta builds at the time of this video for Season 2 that consistently win me games in mid to high tier arenas. This is because they can systematically clear the first 18 rounds of every game, which allows me to focus my timing attack to my opponent's weak rounds. With that said, I'm still figuring out the late game, so more testing still needs to be done. The playstyle is rather simple and straightforward, especially in the early game due to the smooth upgrade curve on its abilities and its set targeting style, where you choose a place on the map and it auto-targets there. The Mortar Monkey in Season 2 is cheap enough to be used as the first tower placed in your game, and is able to solo the first 5 rounds pretty comfortably. Round 5 and onward though, you can branch into many different paths, either by funneling your money more towards the Mortar or towards your other 2 tower picks. I found that in multiple Mortar games, I would enjoy building all 3 of the Mortar's ability paths. Each path is pretty strong and good at what it wants to accomplish. The multiple aspects of the game that it covers, with its burn, stun, and decamo, as well as its defortification, all offered in a single team slot, makes this tower a strong consideration for future builds I'll develop. In the games I've played against aggressive opponents, I would pause my eco for a short period to hold against early greens or yellows, but getting the top path tier 2 Mortar ability early allows it to defend against these pretty nicely. In the late game, it can feel kind of clunky to micro a bunch of Mortars to stay on target for specific blimps. However, their strengths such as defortify are fine, since they can stay targeted at the front of the track and still be effective. The playstyle overall has been relatively fun to use, but can be a bit confusing at times, just due to the nature of it being a different targeting mechanic. Now, the Mortar has a couple different options available to it, and we're going to cover them here. Now, for the top path, the most notable effect will be the stun offered by the tier 3 top path. The stun stacks very nicely with your other Mortar towers, considering they keep balloons inside the Mortar range for a long period, and can even stack with each other too, trapping most balloons in range for a long period of time. The middle path does large amounts of damage to all lead, camo, fortified, and stun balloons, making this a very strong raw damage option for your defense. The tier 3 middle path can also hold against level 7 black balloon eco pushes, whereas the other paths individually are unable to hold against it, since they are unable to pop those. Stacking multiple middle path mortars also allows you to defend blimp pushes such as the round 18 fortified mower brush. The middle path is a very strong consideration for the early to mid game, and I build this almost every single game. The bottom path has 2 major power spikes, that being the tier 3 signal flare that can reveal camo, which is often bought before round 12 unless you have a camo tech in your other team slot, and its other effective ability is the tier 4 shattering shell that removes fortification, which is a very strong tech option for pushes pre-30. Now, the Mortar synergizes pretty well with a couple different towers, and there's 3 that I would like to highlight. First one I'd like to highlight is the Wizard Monkey. In using the Mortars, sometimes there can be some stray balloons that leak due to the nature of the Mortar's targeting. However, the Wizard's bottom path acts as a very solid cleanup option for such things, clearing any stragglers that the original Mortars might have missed. Using the Wizard in your game also allows you to go to the bottom path early to act as your camo detection for round 12 and allow you to focus your Mortar Monkeys on the top and middle paths, both of which do more damage. Its resurrection ability is extremely effective in the Season 2 patch as well, making it a strong pair to the Mortar Monkey. The second tower I would like to highlight is the Glue Gunner. The Glue Gunner can actually pop its head up as a solid pair to the Mortar Tower in this patch. When considering the nature of the Mortar's targeting system, anything that can extend time within its bombing range will increase your Mortar's damage by a very solid amount. If you have most of your early game currency invested into 1 or 2 top or middle path Mortars, you can increase the value invested into those by extending the range of balloons inside of that. The Glue Gunner does this very, very effectively. Glue Gunner's middle path AoE ability allows it to slow multiple balloons at once, and often I would have one Glue Gunner set to last right at the entry point of the mortar, offering a very solid spot for balloon targeting. This extended value also makes it easier to invest into your economy, giving more currency available to invest into the building of it through balloon sends. Now for the third tower that I would like to highlight is going to be the Ice Monkey, as a solid pair to the mortar. The reason I chose the Ice Monkey is for very similar reasons to the Glue Monkey. It extends the time that the balloons are in the tower range of the mortars, making the value of the mortar go up per currency invested into it, but also because the Ice Monkey is very strong in the late game against mortars. It can handle most blimp pushes with very little money invested into them, offering multiple economic options for the late game. Overall, the Mortar Monkey has been very fun to implement into my playstyle and to experiment with over the last few days. Its unique targeting type made it more of a puzzle to figure out initially. However, once I got its abilities unlocked and took a little more time to fully construct its build, it's become a lot more fun to use. Having a solid build path to never die in the first 18 rounds with it feels very satisfying and takes a lot less energy and clicks put into it compared to some of the other builds I've completed, such as the Dart Monkey or the Monkey Ace. I've enjoyed the Mortar's rather direct playstyle, only requiring a few clicks to set up and do its job, and the Mortar led to a more peaceful type of playstyle that allowed my mind to process other things instead of where to place all my Dart Monkeys, for example, in another build. In using the Mortar Monkey, it led me to want to use other towers with unique targeting mechanics again, such as the Monkey Ace, Helicopter, or Spike Factory. However, I've covered all of these already, which you can find all packaged into a Battles 2 playlist on the channel if you're interested. I may cover them soon in the future as well. Now, the algorithm also loves engagement, so please feel free to interact with other commenters or to suggest potential content to put out on the channel. I'll be uploading a large amount of Tower 6 content, and the Bloons Adventure Time content as well. It's going to be rather experimental though, so if you're interested in those games, feel free to check that out as they come out. Thank you for watching.